It started 8th grade. I was on my way to school, and my mom pretty much had a nervous breakdown on the way to school. At that time, I was maybe about 12 years old, and it wasn't something that we discussed. So when I went to school, me experiencing this traumatic situation, I kept that inside. That was probably the first time that I recognized that I wasn't coping and dealing with it. But again, at that age, I didn't know what name to put on it. As I progressed in life and getting to when my brother died when I was 17 and he was 24. He died on a Saturday and I went to school on a Monday. In my head and what I see in society, especially being a part of the hip hop generation, like if somebody dies, you get a rest in peace tattoo. And so I went and got the tattoo, but I didn't know I needed to cope in a healthy way and I needed to deal with what it is that happened. I shouldn't have went to school on a Monday.
Heart hurt, I'm sitting here heart hurting because I know this is where I experienced probably one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. And like just stepping foot on the ground brought out tears.
So during this time, me having suicidal thoughts literally from the age of 16, 17, all the way up until the age of 31. We're talking about suicidal ideations 5 to 6 times a day. There were moments when I was on I-95 or I-76 where it was just like, I just want to drive my car off the bridge because I don't like how I'm feeling. I can't get out of my own head and I just can't anymore. I lift weights, I'm a competitive power lifter, but I had hurt my shoulder and I went to my primary care physician to get my shoulder checked out. It was time for a physical anyway, so I just got a full physical. And in the midst of him asking me questions, he was like, well, do you think you're depressed? Just out of nowhere, I know it's the checklist that they go through. And it was just like the weight came off my shoulders. It was like, yeah, I am. So we went through the checklist. He was like, okay, it seems like you're moderately depressed. And again, that's just a snapshot of 5 minutes and a few questions being asked. He didn't understand. First, he didn't know my background and how I knew that I was clinically depressed based off my experiences, based off my knowledge base with regards to clinical depression. So he prescribed me some medication and that helped. That helped me. The suicidal thoughts that I talked about having for 10, 12 years, they just disappeared. And so despite having this knowledge base of a bachelor's and master's in social work, working as a therapist, I neglected to recognize that part of depression and anxiety was the fact that you do perseverate on thoughts, whether it's true or not. There may be a chemical imbalance that's causing what you're experiencing. And once I started taking that, it was like a new lease on life.
That's why I walk around wearing this shirt. Man, I could care less.
Roughly about 6 months after I started taking medication and started feeling better myself, I was sifting through the newspaper and I saw an article that a former Boys Latin student, Emmanuel Sloan, had committed suicide. He jumped in front of a train. And so it was that voice inside that said, Phil, it's time. It's time to get out here and to talk about what it is that you've experienced, what it is that other people are experiencing, because they need someone to potentially identify with. The topic is just too important. What if he had supports in place? What if he had awareness as to what it is that he was feeling? Quantify is just the name, but it gets put on like governmental paperwork. But is Phil somebody who cares about somebody's well-being, whether it's just one person or whether it's 100 people, and providing them with not only the awareness, but the resources that will be beneficial for them in the long run.
keep yourself distant, or was that just a thing of like you wanting to genuinely be alone and just like not be around people? Because like, how did, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you have friends? Like, how did that work?
I feel like I plant the seed. It may take some years to grow. It may take a few moments to grow. I've had people after I finished speaking who went directly to the counseling department and signed up for counseling. I've had people who will email me a year later saying, you know what, I now think I'm ready to get help. Or they just thank me for being truthful and honest.
I'm here, you met me, you'll know me for the rest of your life if you choose to.
I'm thankful for, I guess, for my shoulder going out.